Department, apologizing to Manila Mayor Isko Moreno over an erroneous show cause order that was issued to the local official.
I can assure the public and I can assure Manila Mayor Isko Moreno na wala pong itong hint or tint of political motivation. Since the Office of Yusek Echeverry already admitted the mistake, so in behalf po of Yusek Echeverry, we would like to extend our apologies to Mayor Isko Moreno for the erroneous show cause order.
Manila Mayor Isko Moreno has been elected president of the political party Acción Demokratiko in a general membership meeting yesterday. Is this the first step to the mayor's presidential run in 2022? We will discuss in this episode of The Chiefs. Welcome to this edition of The Chiefs. Ako po si Robbie Alampay. Kasama ko po Ed Lingao of One News. Later on, we'll be joined by Ami Pamintuan and Lucy Cruz Valdez. Bok, good evening.
Hi, Bok. Happy Thursday. Well, it's not very happy.
Oh, not very happy.
We're looking at new numbers, new high numbers on the COVID front. We hit 12,439 today. That's the highest since the summer surge, with a positivity rate of 22.5. That's the highest. That's higher than the summer surge.
At saka yung 12,400, second straight day, as you mentioned, and based on the experts we've been talking to, people should be expecting na mataas pa ang numbers in the coming days.
So no relief yet in sight.
In fact, parang kanina kausap ko ang PCCI. I think later on we'll have that topic also. Pero they're already anticipating. Inuunahan na nila yung usapan because inevitably marami ng mga nagtatanong. First week pa lang ng ECQ, pinag-uusapan na kung mag-i-extend ang ECQ.
Yeah. Although I think nobody naman is pushing yet for an extension.
Wala pa.
That possibility has been raised several times already. I mean, people have been broaching that possibility several times already. Na parang it's not that unlikely.
Lalong-lalo na, we're expecting na hahampas hindi naman hahampas, but we're expecting that what happened on the eve of ECQ, which is yung kaguluhan sa Las Piñas at saka sa Manila, which both potential super spreaders, malalaman lang natin yung impact nun a week from now. And that's what's going to lead into conversations about what to do with ECQ. In the meantime, anyway, Lucy Cruz Valdez, kasama na po natin. Lucy,
hello.
welcome.
Hi, Robbie. Hi, Ed.
Happy weekend. Ay, maaga.
Okay. Andiyan na ba? Okay. Lucy, ito na yata ang unang guest natin. Tamang-tama ang pasok mo. Now, joining us is Acción Demokratiko Chairperson Ernesto Ramel Jr. Good evening, Mr. Ramel.
Magandang gabi po, Sir Robbie. Maganda po gabi, Ma'am Lucy and Sir Ed.
Hi, sir.
Gabi ulit.
Good to see you again.
Opo. Galing po
Nakita kami sa kabila,
si Mr. Ramel po, as we said, Acción Demokratiko, and they have just elected Manila Mayor Isko Moreno as their president, as the party president. Linawin natin yon. But Mr. Ramel, are you here to announce anything else on behalf of Mayor Isko Moreno?
Well, wala po ako pwedeng i-announce po on his behalf. I'm just glad to be here and probably answer some other questions other than that, sir.
Okay. Well, hindi po tayo mag-uumpisa sa other questions. Doon pa rin tayo sa question na yon. Because alam niyo naman po dito, pagka hinalal na presidente ng partido, yan ang nangyari kay Ping Lacson. Di ba? Yan ang nangyari nung nagkagulo sa PDP laban, siyempre lahat ng characters doon at the highest levels pinag-uusapan din. How do we not read into this as a step for Mayor Isko preparing for 2022?
I think tama naman siguro that it might fuel some speculations or a lot of speculations. However, like I said, Mayor Isko is at the moment focused on the ECQ. Kasi nga maraming Manileño ang nawawalan ng kita, nawawalan ng trabaho, at yun muna yung kanyang pinagtutuunan ng pansin. Itong mga susunod siguro mga buwan, siguro may mga announcements, may mga desisyon, pero at the moment yun lang po muna ang aming napag-uusapan.
Pero sir, you must admit naman kasi na medyo unusual din nangyari kay Mayor Isko. Wala pa siyang isang linggo sa pagiging miyembro ng Aksyon Demokratiko, naging pangulo kaagad ng partido. I think people would automatically and understandably read a lot into that. Not to put words into your mouth, pero you know what I mean, di ba? Na parang, wow, okay, may mangyayari nga siguro.
I would understand if ganun nga yung maiisip ng ating mga kababayan. However, nabanggit ko rin na may dalawang dahilan kaya nagtulak kami ng magkaroon agad ng reorganization at this time. Una nga po, yung unfortunate na untimely demise ng aming chair na si former Congressman Hermie Aquino last July 31st. And second, yung kailangan mag-submit kami sa COMELEC ng SIUS or
by Sunday
updated sheet on or before the 15th. So the party officers decided na bakit hindi na natin i-reorganize yung partido para may fresh look naman tayo at para naman maisulong pa natin yung ating mga naisisulong sa mga darating na panahon.
Po ba yung partnership ninyo? Baka bigyan nyo kami sana ng konting backgrounder ng kung paanong sinong lumapit, sinong nilapitan,
Sinong nanligaw?
Proseso, ang proseso ng pagda-draft ng mga members ng Aksyon Demokratiko at mukhang nakuha nyo pa yung sinasabi ngayon ng mga survey, isa sa mga matutunog na maaring manalo kapag tumakbo.
Alam niyo po, sige bigyan ko lang po kayo ng konting background. Kasi po after ng elections ng 2019, nagkaroon naman po kami ng small group meeting kasama namin po ang bagong halal din na mayor ng Pasig na si Vico Soto. At napagkwentuhan namin sino ba pwede naming i-recruit o isama sa Aksyon Demokratiko para doon sa aming bagong path na gusto nung tunguhin ng partido. At isa sa mga pangalan na lumabas ay si Mayor Isko Moreno. May na-assign no, na kausapin siya, hindi na yan yata natuloy, hindi na pursue. Pero itong mga nakakaraang buwan, habang kami po ay nag-explore, nakikipag-usap sa mga iba't ibang personalidad, ibang partido, nabanggit ulit yung pangalan po niya at isa sa aming mga kapartido, isa sa aming mga ka-opisyal ay nagsabi na I could reach out to his camp. So nag-reach out po at tumugon naman po sila makaraan na mahigit sa linggo at kami po ay nagkaroon ng unang pag-upo hanggat naging po mga every now and then nagkukwentuhan, nagkikita po. Dahil ang amin, nag-vet din kami, no? Inalam din po namin una yung kanyang track record, inalam namin una yung accomplishments niya. Then, nung kinausap namin siya, ano ba yung mga prinsipyo niya, ano po ba yung tayo niya sa COVID response, which we really like nung nagkakakwentuhan kami, yung kanyang mga plano para sa kabuhayan, sa trabaho ng Manileño, at tungkol din sa edukasyon na isa sa mga cornerstone ng pagtakbo noon ng aming founder, si Senator Raul Roco, healthcare at pabahay. So nagkatugma-tugma po. Pati yung rule of law, napaka-importante rin po yan sa amin. Lagi po yung bukang bibig ni Senator Raul Roco. So yan po, nagkasundo-sundo kami at nakita namin na he's a good fit sa partido. So sabi niya, sige, magsama tayo, mag-usap tayo at magsama tayo.
Yung track record niya po sa showbiz, hindi niyo na inungkat 'yon.
Nandun na. Actually po, binasa naman namin yan nasa internet. It's available. In fact,
at pinaalala pa pinaalala pa ng isang araw.
Ayun nga po. Yung mga pictures na yun, pagka tuwing may laban po yata siya, nilalabas din ng mga kalaban niya sa lokal.
Kantsaw lang po, Mr. Ramel, pero seryoso rin, babalikan din natin mamaya yan. In the meantime, ito po si Ami Pamintuan. Ami, sabi kasi ni Mr. Ramel, yung pagkahalal daw na president ni Isko Moreno, wala raw koneksyon sa 2022. O, Mr. Ramel, ito po si Ami Pamintuan, editor-in-chief ng Philippine Star. Tingnan natin kung uubra kayo dyan.
Good evening, Mr. Ramel. Yung
Magandang gabi.
Action Demokratiko, it's always been, yung reputasyon niya ni anti-administration eh. Tatanong ko lang, and Vico Soto, yung uncle naman niya, on the other hand, si Tito Soto, who's running for Vice President, sabi niya, middle forces daw sila. Neither pro or anti-administration. Ano naman ang klasifikasyon po ngayon ng Action Demokratiko? Will you classify yourself as pro or anti, part of the opposition? Color coding ba kayo? Dilawan ba kayo? Pula ba kayo?
Alam niyo po, doon sa statement na nilabas nga po namin kanina, ang thrust na po ngayon ng Aksyon Demokratiko is to be a unifying force. Kasi po masyado na pong polarize ang ating bayan. Yung awayan nga po ng DDS at Dilawan, na hindi na tayo naka-move forward. Lagi na lang ganyan ang naratibo, awayan ng mas magaling daw si ganito, mas mahusay daw si ganyan. So hindi na po tayo naka-move forward. And we just want like to unite the nation, unite our countrymen towards a common goal. And I think ang pinaka-importante ngayon yung usapin ng pandemya at iba pang mga basic needs ng ating mga kababayan. So panahon na balikan naman natin at tutukan yun. And let's say unify towards those goals.
Sir, dun sa statement po ninyo, sige po, go ahead.
Middle centrist ba yun?
Pwede niyo pong i-brand that way if that's your take on it, middle centrist. Basta kami, we would like to let it be known that we want to unify our nation.
Mm-hmm. Sir, dun sa statement po ninyo kasi sabi niyo, you found common ground with ISCO. I mean, the party found common ground with ISCO because of several issues, COVID response, jobs, livelihood, rule of law, education, housing, and healthcare. Pero po, well, to be honest about it and to be blunt about it, these are all touchstone issues for all parties. I mean, everybody says these things to varying degrees. What would make you different from the other parties in the same way that what would make Yorme's position on these issues different from those of other candidates or potential candidates for the presidency? I asked it kasi, di ba? In the end, what in your platform would make you really distinct and different as a party from, for example, PDP Laban or Hugpong or Liberal Party and so on down the line?
Opo. Napakagandang tanong po niyan, Alam niyo po, may mga prinsipyo ng partido at unang-una po sa prinsipyo namin ay people are our wealth. Ang aming pong paninindigan, ang investment dapat, malaking budget dapat ng ating national budget or kung nasa LGU ka man, ay ang pag-invest sa ating mga kababayan, sa ating mga nasasakupan. At yan, dapat dyan ay edukasyon, healthcare, at pabahay. Dapat hindi po yan na nakakalimutan. At ngayon lang kasi nagkaroon lang ng mas mataas na pagtingin yung trabaho, kaya dahil sa pandemya at dapat din matutukan siya sa darating. Jobs generation is very important. We have seen unemployment numbers rise these days, and the leaders of our country, whether you are a local chief executive, a senator, or a president, should really take a look at this and tutukan itong mga bagay na to. And yan din, siguro napatunayan din naman ni Yorme na he could do things like what he did in Manila. Yung accomplishments niya, yung investment niya sa PWDs, sa estudyante, sa mga single parent, at yung kanyang mga pabahay, nakikita naman po natin, yung Baseco community, yung sa Binondo, nakita natin. These are very telling na mga achievements niya or accomplishments niya that we see na pwede namin, sa mga kasama namin sa partido, whether mayor siya, na pwede niya sigurong i-share doon sa mga yon para maitulak ang mga ganyang klaseng proyekto at programa at prinsipyo.
Mr. Ramel, could you speak a bit about Action Demokratiko? I mean, it's been a while since it was really, a headline name. We know it's been there. There. But the people will get reacquainted to this. Of course, the main thing that people still associate with Action Demokratiko is Raul Roco. But what has it been over the past years, over the past decade, and sino po ba ang mga miyembro nyo na baka kilala ng mga tao?
Nung nakaraang pong 2016, ang aming pong kandidato para sa senador ay si Chiesa COO at former governor ng Pampanga, Mark Lapid. Siya po ay naging kandidato ng Aksyon Demokratiko. Gayun din po ang kilalang abogada at co-founder din namin na si Attorney Lorna Kapunan. Sila po ay aming kandidato noong 2016. And kanina rin po nabanggit nga na noong 2019, yung dating Solicitor General ng panahon ni Pinoy, si Pilo Hilbay, was also our candidate. So we've been around and we've been trying to also get good people to be part of the party.
Kayo po ba ay may balak na makipagsanib-puwersa with isang bayan? Kasi pareho kayo ng objective no? To unify. So kung hindi kayo magsasama, hindi kayo mag-unify. Lalo lang mabibiyak-biyak ang opposition. No? And alam naman natin kung sinong mananalo pag nangyari yun.
Opo. Ma'am Lucy, bago po nag-launch ang Sambayan, kausap din po namin sila. Although minarapat lamang po ng partido na hindi muna sumama sa kanila, dahil nga po ang tingin namin makakahon po, ayun lang lamang pa aming pananaw, no? Makakahon po kami na kami po ay dilawan. So ayaw naman namin mangyari na, again, gusto namin lumayo doon sa naratibong DDS dilawan ang laban na ito. So lumayo kami doon, hindi kami sumali. Pero ito pong nakakaraan lamang araw ay muli pong gusto makipag-usap po ng mga ilang conveners ng Sambayan. At kami naman po ay handa po makinig sa kanila. Kung ito ay para sa ikabubuti ng ating bayan sa 2022 elections para makabunga ng mahusay na puwersa, bakit naman po hindi ulit?
Pero you were talking about polarization kanina So ang pagkakaintindi ko you are also planning to unify with some forces identified with the administration. Tama ba yun?
I'm sorry.
Tama ba yun?
With the administration?
Hindi, with some forces. Halimbawa si Senator Manny Pacquiao, ganon. Or some faction of the PDP, yung kay Coco Pimentel, for example. Ganun ba? Tama ba yung pagkakaintindi namin?
Sa akin lang po, gusto lang namin pakinggan din doon at bigyan ng pagkakataon ni Senator Manny Pacquiao kasi nga po, nabanggit nga namin na they reached out. And sabi ko nga po, kung meron po siyang pagpapalit ng kanyang mga prinsipyo o kanyang mga stance sa certain issues that are close to us, baka naman po pwede mag-usap. At hindi naman, ang pagsasama naman po, hindi po naman porke nagkasama, pwedeng siya lang yung kandidato po or siya na po yung susuportahang kandidato. Baka po pwedeng magkaroon ng suportahan sa isa't isa.
Pero Mr. Ramer, tanggalin na po natin yung label ng DDS o Dilewan. Let's just put it in terms of opposition and administration. Would you categorize yourself leaning towards the opposition if you frame it that way, that the opposition is yung hindi kandidato ng administrasyon?
Well, kung ganun simple yung dichotomy natin, dalawang lang ang pagpipilian natin, ganun nga po yung mangyayari, no? Maaaring sabihin na oppositionista po tayo. Pero again, we'd like to veer away from that because we believe that people are just tired of that narrative na DDS and Dalawan. And we want to be there and also lead these people na naiinis na dito sa polarization na ito.
Yeah, but
yes, sir. Sir,
go ahead.
The fact kasi that you're willing to consider an alliance with Sambayan, which in itself by itself calls itself an opposition group or brands itself along those lines. I guess that also sort of aligns you with the opposition.
Ang gusto lang naman namin with Sambayan is just to listen to them and kung merong mga again issues na pwede kaming magkasundo at magsuportahan, bakit hindi magsuportahan kung gusto magtulak ng mga certain issues at certain principles. Pero again, it's not necessarily us joining them kasi we already declined their invitation.
But meron po, halimbawa, isang bayan kasi, they did define it along certain very clear issues. Anti-terror law, for example, rule of law, human rights, and so on. Let's put it this way. Where would Raul Rocco, in the spirit of Raul Rocco, in the legacy of Raul Rocco, where would you imagine him placing Action Demokratiko at this point in our history?
Well, I would imagine I was there during his two campaigns. I was a young volunteer then, and I was also a coordinator for a province on his second run. So I would surmise that the senator would also be careful about how will he tread these lines. I would surmise also na pagtingin niya rito dapat magkaisa. And that's why yun ang ang call namin ngayon. Magkaisa naman tayo. Tapusin natin tong awayan na to o yung polarization na ito. So I think he'd go there. He'd be right there in the middle and invite everybody to unite and to move forward.
Pero sir, medyo mahirap magkaisa before an election. I mean, I suppose it's easier to make a call for unification after the election, after the people's will has been expressed through the ballot. Pero before that, I would think that you would want to make clear distinctions between their position versus yours.
Well, I agree na siguro, sabi mo nga, this time parang ang hirap magkaisa dahil iba-iba rin yung mga plano ng iba't ibang mga tao. Pero we haven't given up hope. We still have probably 1.5 months to go bago ang filing. So, sa akin, patuloy lang dapat na bukas ang linya, patuloy na mag-usap. We could find common grounds and probably the others will shelve their plans to give way and probably support one or two candidates that will be against the administration.
Pag hindi po tumakbo si Mayor Isko for president or mayor lang, do get behind him pa rin?
I'm sorry, do we get what?
Sorry will you get behind him pa rin? Will you still support it? What if isang bayan, kunyari nagsanib puwersa kayo and they voted for another president? Would you be in support of that? And will Isko be going along with that?
Una, kung si Mayor Isko po ay babalik ng Maynila at ayun naman lang sa ngayon, yun naman yung naihahayag, bakit naman di namin siya susuportahan? We'll certainly support him. Second, yung pong pagsama namin o pakikipagsanib sa sambayan, sabi ko nga po, hindi na po namin magagawa yan dahil we already declined their invitation. We just wanted to listen to them and hear what they want to say. Baka meron lang silang gustong mga i-propose o baka gusto nilang tumulong for whatever reasons. So, gusto lang din namin silang pakinggan ulit.
Open din ba kayo sa alliance with Senator Panfilo Lacson, yung grupo nila Pantaleon Alvarez? Dahil mukhang determinado na yung grupong yon, kasama na si Tito Soto, uncle ni Vico Soto, na tumakbo. Opo.
Lumabas na rin po ito sa media. Nagkaroon po kami ng isang dinner with them more than a month ago or a month ago. Senator Lacson, si SP Soto, andun din nga rin po si Mayor Vico Soto. So, nakinig po kami sa kanila at yung mga tinatanong namin ng kanilang stance sa mga issues at meron ilan na okay po kami, meron ilan po na hanggang ngayon hindi po kami pabor, hindi namin gusto, so to speak. So kung naman po ang usapin magkakatulungan din, sabi ko nga towards sa common goal, bakit naman po hindi po natin alam what another 1.5 month holds.
Okay.
Sir, can you speak to us about your process in selecting your presidential candidate? Are you going to go through a party convention, or will it be done through a party executive council? Who will select, and how will selection be made?
Good question, sir. That's also being sorted out right now. the time for party conventions as per Comelec is September
This next
1st,
month.
28th. Yes. So that's something that we are talking about right now. So siguro in due time we'll let you know kung ano po yung napagplanuhan at ano yung napagkasunduan po namin. We'll hold the convention or it will be sorted out by the officers and the National Executive Board.
Okay,
Sir, last na lang. You know, a political machinery is what political parties actually offer their candidates, especially if the candidate is gunning for the highest post in the land. No, I'm just wondering how does your machinery look like? I mean, are you even nationwide? Because very few of your members are really, sabihin na natin, known or popular in the regions across the country. So I'm just wondering what kind of machinery you have that can support a presidential aspirant.
Maganda rin po yung katanungan nyo, ma'am, Ma'am Lucy. So we are a very small political party. We have chapters, although it's not widespread, but we have chapters in Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. And we have people there who've been with us since the late Senator Raul Roco. And ngayon nga po, they're also going out and saying that whatever the plans are, they'll be there. Compared to other political parties, PDP Laban, NPC, and UP, name it, we won't be comparative to them. But what we have right now is the goodwill that the late Senator Raul Roco left and the inspiration that's being brought by Mayor Vico Soto and Mayor Isko Moreno. We think these are enough to help us get people to our fold. Remember in 2016, when President Duterte ran, they also didn't have a lot of incumbents with them, and they didn't have that vaunted LP machinery at that time. And then in 2016 was the same. 2010, I'm sorry, it was the same. LP was just sabi nga nila para nasa Volkswagen lang. So we feel confident that with the narrative, with the right plans, with the platform that we will offer the Filipinos, the unifying force that we intend to push forward, we could help whoever we are going to support for 2020.
Sir, pasingit lang sir, kung ang LP Volkswagen Party dati, ano kayo bali?
Tricycle.
GP laban ng Volkswagen.
Jeepney Party daw yun, Jeepney Party na. Sige sir, thank you po.
Okay.
You,
Mr. Ernesto Ramel, he is the chairperson of Aksyon Demokratiko. Maraming salamat po, Mr. Ramel.
Maraming salamat po sa inyo
Thank you,
lahat.
sir. Ingat po.
Magandang gabi po.
Okay. Break po tayo. Please stay with us. The Chiefs will be right back. Welcome back, the Chiefs here on One News. Now joining us, Mr. Sergio Ortiz Luis, Honorary Chair and Treasurer of the Philippine Chamber of Commerce and Industry. Good evening, Mr. Ortiz Luis.
good evening.
Good evening. This is Ami, Lucy, and Ed, and to our listeners.
Tapa. Okay, sir, Robbie Alampay po, joining you here from Mandaluyong. Tanong lang po kasi ngayon, mataas na naman ang numero, no? 12,000 plus health experts, officials are telling us, brace yourselves, baka tumaas pa rin yung numero. Now, inuunahan na ng PCCI, nag-statement kayo na sana naman nobody's taking this seriously, this talk about, possibly extending, some talk of extending by 5 weeks. But given everything that we're seeing right now, and there's still a week left, but by August 20, where we're supposed to re-examine, potentially lift, after August 20, ideally, what would PCCI want to see?
Well, let's put it this way, no? Ang talagang posisyon ng PCI, even sa lockdown, we don't want to see any lockdown anymore. No? Alam naman natin, ang sinabi ng NEDA, its week of lockdown is 150 billion. So yung 2 linggo, 300 billion. Over and above that, ang mga nawawala ng sweldo, sabi ng DTI, kinumpute nila na mga non-essentials, ang nawawala ng sweldo for the 2 weeks, which be 30 billion. So 300 billion plus 30 billion, 330 easily. Hindi pa kasama doon yung July 31 hanggang August 5 na nag-umpisa na talaga magsara yung mga ano. So, ang sinasabi namin, billion-billion yan. Kung gawin mo limang ano yan, magkano dadagdag kung 450 billion, that's half a trillion. Yung kung 3 linggo pa ang dadagdag mo rin, half a trillion. Tapos ang ayuda binibigay natin, I guess 12 billion yata yung naririnig ko, yung bibigyan natin ng ayuda, yung directly listahan ng mga talaga affected. Pero hindi, that doesn't give us the true picture. Pag huminto yung mga trabaho ng mga yon, yung mga suppliers from outside of Metro Manila, yung mga hinto rin yun. So maraming apektado. Yung bibigyan natin 1,000 sa tao o 4,000 sa pamilya. Sufficiente ba yun sa 1 linggo? We're talking about, and after 2 weeks, meron pa ba susunod? Wala. Bakit ba tayo napapanik do sa numbers? Nung pa last year, sinabi na namin, nung bago pa mag-lockdown noong March, sumulat kami, sinabi namin, huwag nating hintuan ang pagdadagdag ng kwarto sa mga hospital. Huwag nating hintuan ang paglalagay ng mga COVID quarantine areas, saka yung encourage natin yung mga LGUs na maglagay, mga barangay. O hindi napasin, nagulat ang DOH nung mangyari yun. Ano sila ng Okta. Okta ang nagpipredict using their own data para bang nag-abdicate sila sa role nila of information. Ngayon, nagbabawi ang DOH. They're doing it also. Pero ang problema, pasok naman ang pasok itong Okta, natataranta. Nagpapasikata sila ngayon who has the bad news. Ayaw nila magkasisiyan kasi narinig ko sinabihan sila ng Okta noon. Pag hindi nyo sinunod yung namin ng lockdown, mananagot kay bayan pag may dumagdagay ng namatay at tumaas ang numbers. Ang sinasabi namin, yung numbers dito sa tumataas, kailangan bandayan yan. Pero sa totoo lang, 96% of that are asymptomatic and mild, walang pwedeng uuwi lang at maghuhugas ang kamay. Ang dapat nating bantayan, dumadami ba yung severe, tsaka yung namamatay, na 4% yung nagsisevere at kailangan talagang ma-hospital. Yung iba, talagang medyo palabas na lang yun na ayaw nating makita na meron nanganganak sa kotse, na merong hindi na naka-stretcher na nando sa labas ng ospital, ayaw natin yon. Pero sa totoo lang, hindi big killer ang COVID. Ha? Mas maraming big killers. Maraming namamatay sa dengue. Maraming namamatay sa heart attack. Maraming nagsusuicide yan, tumaas na 25%. Marami yung mga bata na nagtatawagan na nagkakaroon ng problema. So why do we sensationalize these numbers? Bantayan natin yung what matters. Nadadagdagan ba talaga yung nagsisibir? Nadadagdagan ba talaga ng malaki yung number? Ano? Kung tutuusin mo, kung sasabihin natin, halimbawa, ito yung nagsisibir, at yan ay madodoble pagka hindi tayo nag-lockdown. Hindi ko alam kung anong ginagawa natin sa lockdown para makatch yan, no? Alam mo ang cost, kung sasabihin mo yung 2 weeks lockdown, 330 billion, kung gagawin ng 5 billion, mga 700 billion or more than half a trillion. Ang cost nun, yung ina-avoid mo na magsibir, palagay ko nasa 200 million per person eh. Kung gagastahin natin yung pera na yon sa namamatay sa gutom, yung kailangan mag-transplant, yung kailangan baka wala nang mamatay sa TB, wala nang mamatay sa laki ng pera na yon. Pero ano iniiwasan natin sa pera na yon? Ang dapat natin gawin, a few million sana, at totoo, na-appreciate naman namin, itong bago mag-lockdown, ang nakita namin ang DOH is up to the ball na. Talagang pinagsabihan na nila yung mga hospital, magdagdag kayo ng kwarto, yung magdagdag kayo ng mga frontliners. Pero hindi sapat. Dapat if we spend a few hundred million or even 1/5 of what we are going to lose sa 2 weeks lockdown, 1/5 nun. What would 1/5 of 300 billion plus be?
Pero sir, to be fair po, kasi the diseases that you mentioned, for example, heart disease, they're not really infectious. They would not necessitate a lockdown. In the same way that dengue is not the same as COVID, kasi dengue needs a vector like the mosquito, which would also not necessitate a lockdown. Tuberculosis, on the other hand, is medyo mahaba-habang disease yan eh. I mean, I can talk to you as a tuberculosis former tuberculosis patient eh. So that will take several months, not like COVID eh. Anyway, sir, ganito po. Let me put it this way po. Baka naman po talaga radical masyado na pag-usapan yung 5 linggo na lockdown at this point kasi medyo maaga pa eh. Nasa 1 linggo pa lang naman tayo eh. Pero po kasi I suppose ang problema is that medyo delayed talaga yung pagpasok ng data dahil mahigit 1 linggo yung incubation period. Tapos may konti pa yung delay doon sa pagproseso ng data. So ang problema baka by the end of the lockdown hindi pa po tapos yung pagpoproseso ng data from the start of the lockdown. In which case po, if we do need to extend the lockdown, what would be a workable compromise for business? Baka nga masyadong radical yung 5 linggo eh. But if they do see the need to extend ano pa ho ba yung what's workable for business?
Ang sinasabi namin sa business, hindi naman kami. Yung mga mayayaman, okay lang yung lockdown, they can afford it. Yung mahihirap, ang problema yan. At yun ang tinatamaan ng usturyan. Ala naman kaming conversation, kung ano sasabihin na, susunod naman ang business eh. We will have to work, tuloy-tuloy yung natin. At sinasabi lang natin, yung ina-avoid natin, yung numbers noong na-infect, ang bandayan natin, talaga bang yung nagagrabe na 4% ay yung namamatay na less than 1%, I think. Yung malaki inilalaki. Worth it ba yung hirap ng bayan, ng mga kababayan natin? At maraming namamatay tuloy sa ibang bagay other than COVID because yung masyado ang concentration natin doon, na masyado tayo na alam ko na ang difference ng yan, very contagious yan. Yun naman sinasabi namin ang ubo, tsaka yung very contagious yan. Hindi naman natin 96% naman yung contagious na yan, marami asymptomatic at wala namang kailangan Ang importante lang, masigurado natin na yung kailangan ma-hospital, yung kailangan ma-isolate. Yun ang sinasabi namin. Hindi worthwhile yung cost ng lockdown at paghihirap ng mga taong bayan doon sa ginagawa natin. Kung handa tayo na yung health system natin Eh, ang problema, ito mo, nag-lockdown tayo and then we found out, yung pala mga hospital, may resistance yun, kasi hindi pa bayad. Yung mga private hospital. Yung
Rapid
mga
health.
government hospital, hindi pa rin bayad. Yung mga frontliners.
Apa.
Eh, akala namin dapat yan, few 100 million, ala tayo problema. Yung COVID, proof tayo dyan sa pagka binayaran natin, few 100 million, maybe a few billion. Hindi kagaya ng cost pag nagla-lockdown tayo. At ang iwasan
Okay,
natin
so-
talaga, yung grabe.
Okay, you're saying that the lockdowns should then be based not on the number of active cases per se, but on the number of those who are severe or the death rate. Is that your
Yes.
point? No. So,
Yes.
so as far as you're concerned, this is not alarming that the numbers are going up if majority of those numbers are really asymptomatic. Yet that's your point.
Well, alarming, but I'm saying that put it in proper perspective. Mas maraming harm na magagawa yung lockdown na yan dahil sa laki ng gastos at hirap ng mamamayan. Marami na naguguto, marami na going to criminality, marami ng mga bata natin na calling because they're bothered. Eh, hindi natin iniintindi yun. Samantalang, hindi naman biggest killer yung COVID. Contagious, yes, contagious. Kaya nga kailangan yung health system natin nandyan. At pag saya natin...
Do you think, sir, I appreciate what you're saying, no? Do you think we're being quite alarmist about this? That we're panicking over 12,000 a day now and possibly climbing up to 18,000 if we don't lock down again ECQ style for the next 2 weeks.
Nakakatakot, lalo na pag sinasabi mo na 1 million plus na tayo. What does that mean? Ilan ba nagpa-flu sa Pilipinas? Ilan ba yung dapat bantayan? Ilan ba yung magsisivir dyan? Ilan ba yung mamamatay yan? So parang ngayon, almost 30,000 in a matter of 1.5 years. No? Eh, ang daming namamatay on other causes more
Sir,
than
kaya
that.
lang po, I mean, if you don't know,
Kinuha niya 30,000 yan in 1 year. At saka hindi siya ganyan kabilis makamatay. We also have people close to us, friends, and who have died of COVID, and we've seen how terrible this disease is and how contagious it is. So yun ang inaasa, yun naman ang binabalanse din ng mga health officials. In fact, yung mga health frontliners, karamihan sa kanila, marami nang namatayan ng ganyan at sila rin, nagkasakit na rin. Kaya yun yung kinoconsider, yun ang binabalanse naman ng gobyerno in imposing this lockdowns. So tinatanong lang namin yung business community dahil naintindihan din naman namin yung impact on the economy. Ano kaya ang pwedeng compromise or kaya what do you want to see ramped up on the part of the government or on the part of tayo lahat? Anong gusto niyo makita madagdagan? Contact tracing, testing ba? Kasi nakikita natin sa ngayon, the hospitals are overwhelmed. They're overflowing yung nakikita naming images.
70% na po yung ICU occupancy.
Yeah, ano kaya ang pwedeng...
Meron kami mga sinadjust.
Yeah.
Number one, doon sinulat namin noon, huwag tigilan yung pagdadagdag ng mga rooms saka mga kontak they started doing that this time around, pero hindi pa rin sufisyente. Secondly, we said, kung nag-open tayo na ekonomiya, bawasan natin yung mga super spreader like yung problema sa traffic, yung problema rin sa sasakyan, yung problema sa pagbibigay ng ayuda, nagiging super iwasan natin yan. Pangatlo, na isinadjust namin, bilyon-bilyon ang ginagastos natin sa contact tracing. And at the end of the day, dagdag ng dagdag. Yung huli lang bayan niya, 5 billion na naman yung hiningi para sa additional 50,000 contact tracer na dati nakita ko sa bayan, doon sa Zoom noon 255,000 do yung ginagamit na contact tracer, naghihingi na naman ng additional. So, bilyon-bilyon yon. And then, sinasabi naman nila, kulang pa raw yung contact tracing. Ang sinasuggest namin noon, bakit hindi gawin kung talagang ganun ka-urgent? Bakit yun man lang makabawas ang gastos, makabawas ang mamamatay, kung isususpend mo yung Data Privacy Act only for COVID cases. Ano? Nabalitaan nyo yung siguro yung dalawang nandun naka-quarantine, nakatakas, nag-mulling. Ano? Hindi mangyayari yun kung sino, yung naalala ko, no, merong isang babae galing sa Hong Kong, nakalusot, pumunta sa Ilocos, sa linggo hinahanap. Kung i-announce mo sa radyo na si yung tao na yan yan papunta, within the day, hindi inabot ng several days, ang daming hinawa, pati yung mga hindi mo kailangan bantayan ang lahat ng tao, pwede mo namang baliktarin yung proseso. Maraming mga congressman, senador, cabinet member, mga taipans, pagka sila'y tinamaan, nagde-declare sila. Alam naman nakakahiya sa sakit hindi ko maintindihan, nagawa na nating isuspend ang mga civil liberties, pati exercise, suspended bakit hindi natin isuspend yun? Hindi ba common sense na pagka sinabi natin, itong barangay na ito, hindi mo naman isa ng buong barangay, sabihin mo kung sino rin sa barangay na yon. Sa kalye na, sabihin mo yung tao, iiwasan nila kung saan pumupunta yon. At hindi makakalabas yun dahil babantayan ng mga kapitbahay. At sila man mismo, alam nila na
Sir,
hanggang hindi sila nakiklear.
Sir,
Yun ang
linawin
sinasabi
ko lang
na.
po, if I'm hearing this right, particularly with this particular proposal, you're saying na isuspend na lang muna yung data privacy law for everyone.
Not the whole law. Only for contact tracing. Only for those who are affected, all those who are just infected. Only for those.
And part of the rationale here is that so we can reallocate some of the resources that right now is being proposed and allocated for contact tracing, and you're saying mas mabuti nang invest na natin sa ibang bagay yon.
Totoo yun. Among others. But importante, lalabas yung mga tao kasi meron na tayong mga facilities sa pagdadala. Hindi kagaya nung dati, dadali mo sa isang tent na butas-butas, wala namang gagamot sa kanila, ayaw nila lumabas. Ngayon, pag pinablis mo, sino yung pagkaya na nakasalamuhan nila, ay magpapatest yan. Magpapatest yan, lalabas yan. At alam nila sila na possible impact. Hindi ba common sense? Hindi mo na kailangan hanapin, lalabas yung mga tao?
I have to admit, I can try to see the common sense there. I also have to say, I suspect this is a can of worms. When you're starting to talk about civil rights and the privacy rights. But on the other side, without even going there, ang tanong ko po is, this is precisely what the health sector is trying to say. We need more resources, including for contact tracing, for building hospital capacity, and so on. And para bang nababalik tayo sa dating mga usapan. I mean, to be honest, itong mga sinasabi na mababa naman ang mortality rate, mababa naman ang weren't these precisely the kinds of things that led us astray at the very start of the pandemic? Wasn't that precisely the kinds of arguments that led government to under-invest in contact tracing, to not anticipate capacity, and basically umaabot time and again sa punto where the health sector is saying, time out, kailangan ulit namin ng time out?
No, if I make my point, yung lahat na sinabi mo na yon is precisely what we have been telling the government to do. Yung allocation of resources. And precisely we're saying, if you can afford to lose for the economy for 2 weeks, more than 300 billion, why can't you have devoted yung one-fifth of that for the hospitals, for the bayaran mo lahat yung mga hospital na hindi nababayaran, bigay mo yung mga para sa contact yun sa mga frontliners natin. Yun ang sinasabi namin. At marami namang makaka-hire pa uling kung talaga nagbabayad tayo ng ayos Pero ang problema, yung allocation natin.
Without having to lock down, is that your point? Without having to lock down.
Yes.
Pero sir,
So
as it turns out, sir, it's not so much a matter of not having funds as it is the absorptive capacity of, for example, DOH. Kasi yung co-finding last year, DOH may unobligated na 25 billion. And then yung sa Bayanihan 2, nagbalik ng 9 billion. So, hindi na,
At
actually may
ngayon,
pondo,
may
hindi
COA
na
report
nagagamit.
pa na,
Very
na
ironic ka.
inappropriately
Very
used the
ironic ka,
funds.
Ed. Here we are saying, kulang yung kwarto nyo, bayaran nyo yung ano, hindi pa, meron palang pera, hindi nagagasta.
Na ibabalik lang.
Oo, na ibabalik lang. Well, let's wait for the explanation. I hope they have a good explanation.
Mr. Ortiz Luis, ipahabol ko lang kasi yung DOLE sabi, hindi daw dapat bawalan ng mga kumpanya yung mga unvaccinated workers from returning to the workplace. Ano po ba yung posisyon niyo din sa
We agree with Dole na una that is the law. Merong ano yan. Plus, alam naman natin na hindi naman nababaksin lahat ng tao, hindi pa available lahat ng vaccine. Paano mo namang ipe-prejudice yung mga gusto magpa-vaccine, hindi ma-vaccine? Ang pinoproblema natin ngayon, madalas, doon nga kami nagtataka, kung paano mo pipilitin o paano mo encouraging yung mga hesitant. Ang dami pang, wag mo na muna intindihin yun. Vaccine na lang ng vaccine sa gusto. Nakita mo naman, nagkakagulo sa Las Piñas at sa Manila no ano, marami pa ang pwede. Yung mga bata na hindi natin maasikaso, na gusto na rin magpa-vaccine yung iba, dahil gusto natin tapusin muna yung mas priority. Ang nangyayari ngayon, lumalabas yung mga bata, marami na rin ang tinatamaan. So, talaga importante, i-ramp up natin talaga yung vaccine. There's no doubt about it. Yung mga protocols, susundin namin yan sa business sector. Kami yung unang-una. Hindi totoo na sa workplace maraming nakakahawahan. Ang totoo yan, yung mga pagpunta at pag-alis sa workplace, doon nagkakahawahan. Ang daming possible spreader doon sa pila, yung carousel na yan. Ang daming nahahawa yan. Tsaka yung nag-aabang ka, madaling araw pa lang ng sasakyan na wala ka namang masakyan. At tutulakan kayo sa ang daming nahahawa. Yan ang sinasabi namin. Handa ang Pilipino, sumusunod ang Pilipino, pero handa ba kayo? Yun ang tinatanong namin. Lockdown lang ba ang pinakasimpleng solusyon lagi? Nasa letter D tayo. Pag dumating ang E, dumating ang F na variant, paano na tayo? Alam naman natin maaaring dumating pa yan. Hindi naman natin kaya na. Ito nga, 12 billion lang ito ina-allocate dito sa na ayuda. Hindi naman kasya yun. Tsaka hindi naman lahat mabibigyan nun. Paano na tayo? Kawawa naman yung mga Totoo yung sinasabi ng iba. Kung mayaman ka, okay lang yan. Pero yung mahirap, paano na?
Okay. Mr. Sergio Ortiz Luis, Honorary Chair and Treasurer of the Philippine Chamber of Commerce and Industry. Sir, maraming salamat po.
Maraming salamat, sir.
Ingat po kayo. And that's all for this special edition of The Chiefs. We hope what was discussed here will keep the conversation going. Before we go, a reminder to our viewers, mask on, wash hands, stay safe, Philippines. Ako po si Robbie Alampay.
I'm Ami Pamintuan of the Philippine Star.
I'm Lucy Cruz Valdez of News 5.
I'm Edwin Gao, and we are One News.